Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Codeman Movies, the video podcast, whatever the hell I'm doing nowadays, I don't know. Another week and another busy week, so I didn't get to watch as many things as I would have liked, but this week holds hope, maybe, I don't know, possibly, we'll see. So how you guys doing? How's life? How's everything like that? By the way, my drink special of the week, since it seems like every week I have a different drink, this week is spiked coffee. I put a little bit of a peanut butter whiskey, chocolate peanut butter whiskey, I should say, and added it to my coffee, and it's very good. It also reminds me of about a year and a half ago when I was, sorry, got some stuff running down my cup here. Reminds me of a year and a half ago when I was working at Anytime Fitness as a manager there. My buddy and one of the trainers there, well, he's no longer my buddy anymore, but we were buddies. He was having a bad day, and so I spiked his coffee. He had a better day after that. And yeah, that's the kind of manager I am, guys. Anyways, it just reminded me of that. I don't know why I had to bring it up. It's just a happy memory. Like I said, we're no longer friends anymore, but I wish we were. There were some good times with my buddy. But anyways, this cup also is in a Rise and Shine monkey cup that another friend gave me after I watched her cat for about a month when she was moving. So yeah, this is just good memories. This is just a good way to start the episode. I am also, by the way, wearing my bathrobe because, well, it's just so comfortable and cozy. I washed it yesterday too. I can't smell, but I think it smells good. It feels good. Also not wearing any pants, so we're going to keep the camera right where it's at, because you don't need to see what's below this, because it just gets worse. That's good. Anyways, guys, let's start talking, shall we? Let's talk about Moon Knight, first of all, like we've been doing the last few weeks here. Boy, is this show insane. I keep thinking I'm going to get some answers, and I'm not getting any answers. In fact, I'm getting more and more confused, which I like. I don't feel like spoiling this, but there's a hippo in this episode. That's all I'm going to say. The show is continuing to just blow my mind and confuse me. And I like it, and it's really good. This episode had vibes of The Mummy in it, and The Mummy and Indiana Jones, and very interesting, fun episode. And I can't wait to see these last two episodes, and I just don't know how they're going to do it, what they're going to do with it. It's just blowing my mind, this show. It's so interesting, so weird, so unique. And I'm loving the hell out of this show. Really am. And we only have 2 more weeks of it. So, you know, it's just really interesting to see how it's going to end. And I can't wait to see the end. So, yeah, Moon Knight, guys. Still an interesting, fun show. Next movie, well, the first movie I watched of the week was Father Stu. Went and saw this in theaters. This is based on a true story of a boxer who eventually became a pastor, a minister, however you want to, whatever the official real term is. I'm not religious, so I know nothing about that kind of stuff. But it is a really interesting story of this guy who is a boxer that lands himself in prison at a point in his life, and then he eventually turned into this minister. So it is a really interesting story in that sense. This movie didn't do a very good job, though, of showing that interesting story, in my opinion. The boxing is not relevant at all in this movie, really. If you were hoping to see some boxing scenes, that's the first 30 seconds of this movie. And then it goes on to show that this man is insane. He falls in love with a girl and becomes a minister eventually. And of course, there's other things that happen along the way, but this movie was kind of boring. I kind of just wanted it to end the entire time I was watching this thing. it's not the worst movie in the world. Mark Wahlberg does give a great performance in this movie. Jackie Weaver's in this movie. Mel Gibson's in this movie. So there's some great performances and such in this movie. It's just the movie itself is kind of boring. The pacing of the movie is not so great. I think the movie goes on a little bit too long. And at the end of the day, I didn't like this character all that much. I think the movie wants you to cheer for him and hope that he can, get his ministership or fathership or whatever it's called. Because again, I don't know these things. I'm not trying to insult anybody here, but I just don't know anything about the process necessarily becoming a pastor or whatever. You see parts of it and you see him struggling with it, and it's just not something I was really all that interested in, which could be partially just because I'm not religious. But yeah, this movie was just kind of slow, kind of boring. The pacing was not the best. It is an interesting story. I think it just could have been told a little bit better. I think the direction of this movie could have been better. The writing could have been a little bit better. Like I said, all the acting in this movie is great. There's some great actors in this movie. I just found the movie kind of boring and kind of uninteresting, and I had hoped for better. I really did, because it is such an interesting story of a man going from boxer to, preaching to everyone. And yeah, it is an interesting story. I will say that if this is something that interests you, maybe go check it out. But not my favorite. Not a movie I'm ever going to revisit. But like I said, it's not a bad movie. Just not particularly my favorite. It's like a 6 out of 10 for me. A movie that I don't hate that I watched. It's just a movie that I didn't particularly find any interest in. And so yeah, it didn't pique my interest. How about that? Next up, guys, so I'm sure I've mentioned this before. I try to match up movies that I watch for the week with movies that are coming out in the next week. So, for example, this week I think I'm going to start watching some Doctor Strange kind of related stuff leading up to Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. I think that's in 2 weeks now. So I try to match up some things. The director and the writer of this movie, That Awkward Moment, also wrote and directed the massive talent of Nicolas Cage, which we'll talk a little bit more about later here. So he wrote this movie, directed this movie, so I thought I'd watch this movie. I watched this movie back in I think it came out in 2014, something like that, 2014, 2015, somewhere in there. And I went on a date to see this movie in theaters, actually, and it was not a good date. This movie also, I remember going to the movie and afterwards talking to the girl that I was with, that she went, "You hated this movie." I went, "I didn't hate it. It was just very eh." And it is just very eh after watching it again. I don't think it's awful. The reviews for this movie are absolutely terrible. I don't think this movie is absolutely terrible. I think there is a good first half of this movie. It's the second half that gets really cheesy and dumb and over the top that I did not enjoy the second half of this movie. But the first half, I really enjoyed. The idea of a group of guys having this pact that they're not going to be in relationships, that they're going to be bros for a while. That's something I think we all can relate to. We've all had relationships or just had moments of our life where we're done looking for that significant other. We're just going to hang out with our bros. And that's kind of what this movie is. Like I said, the first half is actually legit pretty good in my opinion. It's funny. It is something we all can relate to. It's the second half where it gets really cheesy and just really paint by numbers and just really dumb, honestly, towards the end there. And it couldn't hold my attention by the end of the movie. I just got bored with it. Saying that, but again, the first half is just fine. Second half, not so much. It's a movie I don't ever feel the need to see again. Maybe if I'm doing a marathon of this director and writer, possibly. But But again, it's not the worst movie. It's not the best movie. I'm not going to remember this movie, and I barely remember this movie, and I just watched it a couple days ago. It's just fine. It's fine. It's like a 4 or 5 out of 10 for me. It's just that middle of the ground. I don't need to see it. I don't recommend you see it, but if you do see it, you're not going to hate yourself necessarily. It's not the greatest. It's not the worst. It's just there. It's just that Hubba Bubba piece of gum that no longer has flavor that you're still chewing on. And that's the awkward moment for you. That awkward moment for you. Oh, I love coffee. Especially spiked coffee. All right, but that's that awkward moment for you. It's fine. Nothing terrible. Just eh. Next up, guys, if you've watched the show before, you know I like podcasts. I love listening to podcasts in the car, while cleaning, while working, whatever the case may be. And one of the podcasts I listen to is called Blank Check. It's one that a friend of mine recently shared with me. And so I've been kind of listening to some of it because something about movies that I like is that it's all subjective. There is no right, there is no wrong. And so if someone has a different opinion than you, it's not a wrong opinion. It's just 100% their opinion and the way they see the movie and blah, 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 blah. And I like that. I like having creative discussions with people, about movies. And the podcast Blank Check, the hosts of those that podcast, pretty much every single movie they like, I do not like. Pretty much every single movie they don't like, I do like. And so it's interesting to get that perspective of someone that doesn't like a movie that I do like, and a movie that I do like and a movie I don't like that they do like. You get what I'm saying. The point is, this was a podcast I was listening to, an episode of the podcast that I was listening to, and they were talking about Charlie Chocolate Factory. And they were talking about how much they love this movie. And personally, I remember being excited to see this movie back in like 2005 when it came out. And I remember going, I like the original a lot. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is such a magical and mystical and weird and dark movie. I think I already talked about it in a previous episode of the podcast for this year because I did watch that movie this year. And this movie is very different. Something else I like about the Blank Check podcast is they talk about the behind the scenes. They know a lot about the behind the scenes stuff with it. This remake had been in the process of being made for years, and there was a lot of issues with it, blah, blah, blah. Finally, Tim Burton got it. Tim Burton's person had become Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp had done Pirates of the Caribbean and became a big star. And so this movie finally got greenlit. And this is the movie we got. I talked last week about how much I do not like Johnny Depp as an actor. I don't like him as an actor. I really just don't. I like his earlier stuff when he wasn't all over the top and ridiculous. But ever since Pirates of the Caribbean in 2003, he feels the need, and I really do feel like it is his personal choice that he wants all this white makeup on him. He wants these weird voices that he does. He doesn't talk normal at all anymore. It's just, hoo-hoo, ha-ha, I think I'm on drugs as I'm acting in this movie. Which, there are times in this movie where I do think he was just on drugs, because it's just ridiculous. And people compare this performance to Michael Jackson, and I see it. Like, he is just acting like this weird, ridiculous, over-the-top person, and it just doesn't fit. Tim Burton has said that he didn't like the original movie. This is from what I heard on Blank Check. So I heard he wanted this movie to be closer in line with what the book is, and it is closer to what the book is. I will say that. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is very much different than the book. Willy Wonka has geese with the Baruka scene. In the book, it's squirrels, which this movie does. I like that aspect of it. I do like that it's similar to the book. I like the Oompa Loompas better in this adaptation. I do like the Oompa Loompa songs, and because they're the ones like directly from the book. I like the kids in this movie. Johnny Depp is my biggest issue though with this movie. He has just so many shots of him. Let's boogie, and oh, I smashed my head into the elevator. Ha ha ha, so funny. And good morning, Starshine. Like, what is going on? What is he? Who is he? It's just, it's so over the top and ridiculous, and I hate Johnny Depp's performance. It ruins the movie for me. It's too much. It's so over the top. It's so ridiculous. He's in this freaking cartoon, which the movie is fantastical and all that fun jazz, but not like this. Not like he is in a completely different movie in my eyes. And I just can't stand his performance. I really can't. I like some of the things they chose to do. I like that it feels like there's a lot of practical sets. The CG that is in this movie is absolutely terrible. It's 2005 CG, though. When it's practical, it looks fantastic. So this movie's frustrating to me because I think it really could have been a great movie. But instead, you got Johnny Depp being an idiot in this movie. And just, I don't know what he's doing. I don't get it. I don't understand what the hell he's doing in this movie. Then there's just that side plot with his father makes no sense. I get it. We're trying to show why Johnny Depp is, or why Willy Wonka is Willy Wonka. But it was unnecessary. It really was. At the end of the day, I really do actually kind of enjoy this movie if you take out Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp is my biggest problem. I do not like him in this movie at all. He's annoying. He's ridiculous. He's dumb. Why do his gloves look CGI? I'm pretty sure his gloves in this movie are like CGI or something. He's always wearing these stupid rubber gloves and they look stupid. Anyways, my biggest problem with the movie is Johnny Depp. There's the side plot with his father that's stupid. Just little things. Some of the writing, some of the direction. Johnny Depp's performance, though, it's a killer. And I can't stand it. This movie gets a 7 out of 10 for me. This is a movie that I don't watch a lot. I prefer the original much more than this one. I prefer the acting more in the original. Gene Wilder was just a man that was mysterious and mean, but just did such a better job, in my personal opinion. Willy Wonka is a far superior film. I just can't stand Johnny Depp in this movie. I just can't. It's a killer. It just kills it. Anyways, guys, enough talking about this movie. I got hiccups all of a sudden. That's all right. Here we go. Maybe we don't. Okay, here we go. Next up, guys, I went and saw The Bad Guys yesterday in theaters. Fun fact, this was actually the first 3D movie I saw in theaters since, since Godzilla vs. King Kong in March of 2021. So it's been over a year since I've seen a 3D movie. This movie does not need to be seen in 3D necessarily. Was it cool enough? Yeah. But yeah, this movie is about a bunch of guys that are bad guys, and they steal a lot of money and heists and stuff like that, and they decide to kind of become the good guys because one of the guys, the main guy, the wolf guy, he decides he wants to be a good guy, and yeah, this movie, it's made for kids, so I will say this first and foremost, this is a good kids movie. If a parent takes their kid to see it, they're not going to hate themselves. I was in a theater with 2 kids and their 2 parents. I was the only other person in there with them. That was a little awkward, but hey, it is what it is. The kids' attention were held fairly well. Now I'm thinking this isn't going. Oh my God, is it going? Oh, it's going, thank God. Anyways, guys, this movie held the kids' attention very well, which is all that matters. The thing that was weird about this movie is there's animals that are kind of like Zootopia, but there's humans in this world too. And I was confused by that. Like, so animals just coexist as people in this world? Like, that's, like, and it's normal? Like, I don't get it. Like, there is an animal that is a mayor. But, like, so are animals better than the, like, I was just kind of confused by that. Like, they didn't really address that at all. It's just animals are in this world. And animals, like, Wolf is considered a bad guy because he's a wolf. And then, like, there's a fox in the movie that's not a bad person because she's a fox. But, she's a fox. But anyways, guys, this movie kind of confused me in that sense of, like, what, this world didn't set itself up very well, in my opinion. The animation is good to look at. The first half of this movie, I was actually really enjoying. It's the second half where things became a twist. And there's a twist inside of a twist. And there's a twist that lasted 5 minutes before it was kind of like cut off and turned back to what it was. And then there was a twist inside of that twist. There's a lot of twists at the end of this movie that just don't need to be in the movie. And I just found myself rolling my eyes at some of them. And then some of the twists you see coming 100 miles away. And I mean 100 miles away. I predicted everything before it happened. But at the end of the day, it's a kid's movie. Kids might not realize those twists are coming because they're not necessarily paying attention in that sense. But, yeah, this is fine. It's fine. Awkwafina voices a spider who's like a hacker, which was funny. I kept thinking of the movie Ocean 8, when she's a hacker. Like, is she just a hacker in everything she does now? I don't know. It's just, yeah, Awkwafina does, but great voice actors. That's another thing to talk about. Awkwafina's the spider, Sam Rockwell is the wolf, Craig Robinson is the shark. I forget what the other people are, but great voice acting in this movie. At the end of the day, the movie's just kind of paint by numbers. The twists are ridiculous. You see them coming a mile away. This movie's fine. The first half was much better than the second half, in my opinion. Not a horrible movie, though. It's just fine. And, well, not even fine. It's better than fine. It's just not as solid as I would like it to be. It's not a movie I'm ever going to watch again. It's just a generic kids movie, which is fine because it's for kids. It's not... Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. It's not intended for me. It's intended for kids. And that's all that matters. And if kids are enjoying it, that's all that matters. The kids in the theater that were there seemed to be having a good time. They were laughing at all the right places. They were not running around the theater. They weren't getting antsy. They were enjoying the movie. And I could tell that. So at the end of the day, for a kids movie, this is probably like an 8. For myself, though, I just found it like a 6 out of 10. It's good. The animation looks great. The story is fairly well done. I don't like all these twists at the end of the movie in the last half hour. But the first half of the movie was good, and I was fairly entertained by it. 3D was fine. I wouldn't pay extra for it. It's not a movie worth paying to see the 3D. So I will say that. Last movie for the week was The Northman. This movie is directed, co-written by Robert Eggers. He did the 2 movies, The Witch and The Lighthouse. The Witch is a movie that I found absolutely stupid. Really, people were praising that movie and thinking the movie's just a masterpiece. I hated it. I thought it was so dumb and so boring and pretentious. I think I've talked about Wes Anderson before on this podcast, and I think Wes Anderson is a great director in the sense he makes beautiful looking movies. But those movies for me are so bland and so boring and so stupid. And I can just feel him behind the camera going, oh, look what I can do with the camera. I'm an auteur director. I can do whatever with the camera. You wish you could do this. And that's what Robert Eggers movies have felt like. Eggers, I forget how you say it. Point is, that's how a lot of his movies have felt for me. And, that's how his first couple movies have felt for me. The Witch was 100% that for me. The Lighthouse was very much like that, a little bit better. The Witch for me was all style, no substance, like I think a lot of Wes Anderson movies are. The Lighthouse was a little more substance, but lots of style. And I like substance in my movies. I really do. I want some substance. I'm totally fine with an artsy film as long as there's some meaning behind it, you know? Like La La Land is a movie for me. That it is a very artsy, it's a very Hollywood movie, but there is a story behind that, and a very strong story, and a story that people don't even fully understand. People think that movie is 100% a love story. It's not. It's a movie about following your dreams at the end of the day that has a love story in it. And for me, The Lighthouse and The Witch just have this artsiness and not a lot of substance in it. The Lighthouse had a little bit more for me, these two men going crazy, which isn't much of a story, but it's something. It's similar to something like The Shining. Shining's another example. It's a very artsy movie, but The Shining builds and builds to something, and then it explodes, and it's awesome. So that's been Robert Eggers for me. I wasn't super excited about this movie, but I thought it looked epic and something with substance rather than his last two films, which haven't had substance. And so I went to the theater yesterday to see it, and the the person who took my ticket, the manager of the AMC that I go to, she was telling me, fun fact, all the action sequences are in one shot, which I thought that sounded fantastic. That is something that is really interesting to a movie like this, to make it feel more epic and make it epic. And it gives it some substance. It's not just doing it to do it. It's filming the action to make it look like real action. When you're cutting and editing through action sequences, it doesn't look as real. This movie had fight scenes that felt very real. And it made the movie so epic and so amazing. And this is a movie that, if it is not in my top 10 of this year, we're going to have an incredible year. There's been two movies this year that have just blown my mind, and they've come out in the last month. It's this one and Everything Everywhere All at Once. And both those movies have blown my mind. They are epic. They are fun. They are just amazing movies. This movie is so freaking incredible. It's very dark. The movie, if you didn't know, it's kind of based off of Hamlet. Hamlet is also kind of the thing that inspired The Lion King. It's very much a revenge movie. If you don't know anything about it, I'm not going to spoil too much, because I didn't know much about it going in. I really didn't. I try to stay away from trailers and such like that. Basically, the main plot of this movie is our main character, played by Alexander Skarsgård, who has a name that sounds very much like Hamlet. I honestly don't... Yamlet or something? Yamily? I can't remember. But he is seeking revenge for something that happened with his family. I'm not going to say any more. He's seeking revenge, is essentially what the movie is. And it goes from there. It's a revenge movie. And it is so beautifully done, so beautifully acted. Yesterday I was watching a YouTube video on the making... It's Words on a Scene, or whatever it's called, on Variety, where the director and actor talk about the making of a scene. And just that information made it much more interesting. There was so much love and care put into this movie, and it is such a beautifully directed and acted film. The action sequences are in one shot, and you feel every punch, every kick, every stab of the sword, every axe, everything. You feel it in this movie. And it is very epic. Something also that was said in that YouTube video is this is the most accurate Viking depiction in movie. I believe it. It is brutal, and it does feel very realistic to that time. I don't know all that much about that time period, but it does feel very, very truthful to that time from what I know of it. The final act of this film is a little over the top and ridiculous, and it literally made me think of Lion King. So that could have been done a little bit better, in my opinion. And then also, about the first half hour of the movie, it is very slow, and it feels very Robert Edgar-y in the sense that it is very, very artsy. There's weird moments of just hallucination type things, and it's very artsy at first. When it picks up, though, it gets so good, and it is such a powerful, powerful movie, in my opinion. I will say this, there are some actors' names that are on the poster and featured in the poster there that are in the movie for literally one scene. So if you're going to the movie hoping that some of your favorite actors and actresses are in this movie a whole bunch, they're not. Or they might not be. That doesn't take away from the movie necessarily. It was just a surprise for me. But at the end of the day, this is a really great movie, really powerful movie. It's a movie I do want to see again. It is so epic. Everyone should be seeing this in theaters because it is so epic and powerful and strong and just incredible. Such an incredible movie. I'm going to give this movie a solid 9 out of 10. It is just epic. I think there's a few things that definitely could be cut out, particularly parts of the ending that are just a little over the top and don't feel very honest to this time period or any period, frankly. And the beginning of the movie is just a little slow. It feels very artsy, and Robert Edgars is just in it a little too much, doing his artsy stuff that I didn't love about The Witch and The Lighthouse. But I really do love this movie. This is his first movie that I think is just incredible. Has like an $80 million budget, and its first weekend made like $12 million. I hope more people go to see this movie. I want you to go see this movie because this is the kind of movie I do want to see. This is a good artsy movie that I think not everyone can enjoy this movie necessarily because you need to like some artsiness in your movie, but this is a strong, fantastic movie. Like I said, it's not going to be for everyone, but everyone should try this movie out. It is a really great movie. Thoroughly enjoyed myself. While this isn't like Gladiator where there's a bunch of action sequences and stuff, the action sequences that are in this movie are so powerful and so strong that you remember it. And it just is powerful throughout the movie, if that makes any sense. Anyways, guys, great movie. You should check it out if you have not. All right, I'm going to make sure this is still working, and I'm going to drink more coffee because that's what I do. Next up, guys, I did not get a chance to see The Massive Talent. What is it called again? The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. I did not get a chance to see this movie yet. Last week when I went to the theater, the assistant manager there was telling me how they were going to have it, and then they were told that they're not getting it, which made me very sad. But the other theater in my area, they are getting the movie. So I'm going to go see it tonight. It's $5 Tuesday night, so I'm going to go see this movie. I might even go see Everything Everywhere All at Once tonight again, because that theater is also showing it, whereas my AMC is not, which is really sad to me, but it is what it is. So I think I'm going to go see this movie tonight. I am very, very excited for it, like I said. I love the idea of Nicolas Cage playing Nick Cage. So freaking excited for this movie. It's going to be a good time. I can just feel it. I've been hearing so many great things about this movie, and I am really excited to see it. So hopefully I'll be talking about this movie next week. But it is a movie I'm hopefully seeing this week, so look forward to talking about that next week. Next movie that comes out this week that is playing at the AMC, so I'll probably be seeing it within the next week here, is Memory with Liam Neeson. This is from the director of Casino Royale. I am hesitant about this movie because the Liam Neeson movies that have come out in the last few years have not been that great. congrats to Liam Neeson for being an action star at age, what is he, 60, 70 now? Like, that's awesome. I understand why he continues to do these movies. The last few have not been very good. I'm hopeful for this one. This is a great director. I love Casino Royale. You might watch Casino Royale before going to see this movie this next week. So I might watch Casino Royale this week because it is such a great movie. Yeah, I'm hesitant for this one, but, I'm interested in seeing it. This director also did Green Lantern. Let's not forget that. Actually, let's forget that. Let's just forget that. Anyways, guys, I'm hesitant about this movie, but I'm probably going to see it at some point here. Not super excited. Like I said for last week, my excitement level for Massive Talent is like a 10 out of 10. This movie's like a 5 out of 10. If I miss it, it's not going to kill me, but I am interested in it. It looks interesting. So, not super excited, but it is what it is, and I think that is the end, guys. That is the end of the movies for this week. A little bit of a shorter episode, but I did not get to see as many movies as I'd like. I'm still, I just want to let you know, I'm watching Full House. I haven't been talking about the end of the season because it's been the same every time I talk about the end of the season. Great family show, blah, 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 blah. We'll fully talk about Full House when I'm done. I have like 10 episodes of the entire show to watch, so I've been watching that occasionally. Working a lot. I have vacation coming up in about 95 days. Woo! Lollapalooza! I'm very excited for that. So yeah, guys, I hope life is good. I hope that you are enjoying a drink or two now and then. I hope you are doing the things that you love. If it's movies, music, whatever the case may be, I hope you are living life and having fun, having smiles on your face, and you're finding reasons to get up every day. Because that's what life is about. Getting up every day and enjoying life, being able to smile. So anyways, guys, I'll see you next week. Have yourself a great week. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, and don't do anything I would do, and, just do you. Because that's what matters at the end of the day, guys. And yep, I was stalling so that I could turn on my watch so I could turn this off. But have a good week, guys. Bye.